that something you know?
Cafea? I don't know. I know cafefe, but that's an
Definitely
old
not.
reference at this
Definitely
point.
not. What is cafea? Where did that come from?
I don't know, but
Welcome,
welcome everybody. Welcome back. I almost
welcome
went into my
back.
D&D intro just then.
Just do it. No, just do it. Give us a glimpse into
You-
DM John.
yeah, no, well, I say everybody, welcome back to the Lost Realm of Anio. Ooh. And then I introduce myself. I say my name is Jonathan. I am your DM for today, and then we are in this location. Would anybody like to give a recap? And then they give a recap, I give some experience, and then we're off to the races.
I just like to point out that's how he is with his current group, not with my group.
Well, see, back in the day, I had a different intro. I've gone through a couple of different intros that I've tried out. Way back in the day, I used to. I'm sure I annoyed everybody in the house and in the surrounding houses. That I used to just we'd sit down and I'd go, "All right, everybody, welcome to," and then I can't do it because I think the mic's gonna peak. But I'd basically go like, "Friday night," and I just yell at the top of my lungs, "Friday Night Dragons," and hold that
That's
for as
right.
long
I
as I
do remember
could.
Friday Night Dragons. You didn't do all that with me, but I do
No,
remember.
well, that's because by the time
Welcome
you were
back to
playing,
Friday Night Dragons.
yeah, we weren't actually playing on Friday nights. So I used to still do it as a goof, just because I was like, welcome back to Friday Night Dragons, everybody. It's Monday, but it's still Friday Night Dragons. It's always a good time to be Friday Night Dragon. But no, my intro now is far more mature and suave, as it were.
I see. Well,
Yeah. Speaking of
welcome
D&D,
back to John Talks to Liam.
I'm halfway through.
Halfway through D&D, or
yeah. Well, the game that I'm running right now, we are on session, I think 11 or 12, and by my calculations, there's only 26 sessions in this game, so we're about halfway through, and they're making good progress. And
it's because they're speed running it.
Well, so I don't know if I said about this on the podcast, but I definitely remember telling you how they skipped through the asylum. They're supposed to search that thing, find people and clues and items and all this stuff, and they just skipped all of the first floor and all of the second floor and went straight to like the final boss encounter, which is fine. That's the beauty of D&D. But they still have a quest marker there, marker, because they never actually finished what was happening inside of there. And so I took that mentality that they had and applied it to a different dungeon down the line. They've explored this penitentiary, right? A little offshore jail. And they explored every single room and searched every single room to what end? I don't really know, because I knew what they were there for and they knew what they were there for. So they were whole time, they were just, I don't know what they were up to, but they just kept searching everything. And so I was like, okay, well, I start telling them the lore about this place, I guess. Just started lore dumping on everybody, and I don't know, it's great. They got cool items, and
hey, if it works out,
yeah. But I finally have an ending to it, and that has been something that has plagued me for the better part of 2 years. The way that I write, at least for D&D, is very player. I write it with the players in mind, so I don't write hardcore ending, right? I don't go like, okay, this is what they're going to do. Then they're going to do this, and they're going to do this, and this is what the ending is going to be. This is my story. You will experience it. What I do is more like, all right, here are some players. Like, I think of it like a chessboard kind of thing, right? Where it's like every player or every piece on the board wants something different. The important pieces are going to want very specific things. And if the goals that they have end up aligning with other characters, then they'll work together. The players are on the opposite side of this, trying to formulate their own little team to counteract my team. And whoever wins this little chess match determines the ending of the game. Now, in the first campaign, I kind of have a canon ending that I consider what I want to put in the novelized form, simply because of how the game ended for certain player groups. I was like, this is by far, maybe yours. You'll have to wait for the book to see. This is by far my favorite ending of the 3, or of the 4, I guess I should say, or of the 5, or however many there actually end up being.
I like the plot twist ending, which was my ending, but whatever, continue.
I agree. I personally like that one a lot. And now I finally have an ending. Nobody's actually beaten the second campaign. You guys got close. but
We
I never
should have,
actually quite finished it.
but you hate me, so.
Yeah, I think you were actually tied with them right now for
Mm.
actually, no, you would be
They're
one
past me
step
now.
behind them. I
Yeah.
believe they've actually passed you.
Well, to be fair, because of the events in their first campaign, there's a
Mm,
lot of stuff that happened in our campaign that probably isn't going to be the same.
that's true. That is very true. I have a blurb in my, so the software that I use, I've been writing almost primarily in this, what they call a canvas mode, which is I could put sort of story blocks down and then attach little things to all these story blocks. So it's very visually, it's very easy for me to follow. I'm sure somebody
Mm.
looked at it, they'd go, this is the mind of a maniac. But for me, I go, okay, this is like step 45. Totally fine, right there.
That's all you need.
Yeah, one of the blocks is the arrival of the ruler, the newly elected ruler from the first campaign. So for you guys, it was obviously a certain wizard.
Individual, yeah.
Uh,
A bastard, if you will.
yes, for this other group, it's one of the characters that's loyal to the overarching, like, major military force in the world.
Right.
So because of that, I mean, there's not going to be that scene that you guys had where he shows up and then attempts to kill the king, takes over the
That's
city.
right, because the king in the second campaign, he's loyal to
Yeah.
that same military group.
They were working together. So now the puzzle piece that
Oh.
was there on the old game is on the opposite, not the opposite side of the board, but it's like 3D chess now, because basically what has happened to make me realize what the ending actually is that this third party, right? There's like Lothor, the big bad military force. Then there are the heroes fighting against kind of injustice in the world, right? I think what I'm kind of discovering, it was the second time this has happened, is that the way that I'm liking the endings to go is that third group, the chaos group, the evil wizard in the first campaign, the evil doctor in the second campaign, who
Mm.
actually, I think, one of the other players, my little brother Jackson, he said that I have a tendency to I create a scenario whereby the chaos can
Always wins.
take
Always
advantage.
thrives.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
100%. You absolutely, in everything I've ever played with you, that's how it's always been. You'll have this
Yeah.
narrative, and it could be just a one shot, like a straight shot, but then there's always this one chaotic element that turns the
Mhm.
story upside down. And
Yeah.
somehow, some way, whenever I've played with you, they always end up messing things up way more than they should.
Yeah. And I have a feeling it's going to happen this time because there's actually the first campaign only had, I don't know, one, right? Plus that big demon that was sort of backing him up. So that was sort of a one and done, right? Like
Just bullshit, but whatever.
that was the chaos guy. This time there are three, and all of them all three of the chaos elements are operating independently of each other, but they all have the same end goal in mind.
Mm.
So if all three of them end up aligning their goals, it becomes like a triple threat of, okay, big bad is now working with small, or like first big bad, or I should say like act one big bad, then starts working with act two big bad, and then act three big bad. And if all three of them work together, there's this crazy. I had this brain blast maybe 1 or 2 nights ago in the middle of a dream. I like woke up and I try not to like look at my phone in the middle of the night because it messes with like my sleep and stuff. But I was like, okay, I can't type this out because I don't want to wake up. But I need to write this down. So I turned on my notes app and I hit the like voice to text thing. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, so if this happens and then these following events occur and they successfully win and arrive at this moment in time, everything's going to flip on its head and it's going to be chaos across the board. And that's like campaign 8. And that was like what I wrote. Then I looked at it in the morning and I went, yeah, that was my dream, baby. So the canon event in my head leads to like sort of a Civil War Captain America style. No, sorry, not Civil War. Like Endgame style. Literally, someone made I don't know if it was you, but
Mm-mm.
somebody made the comparison to building the Avengers. basically what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Campaign 1 was you make 4 characters, then those characters are released into the world, right? Assuming there's 4 players, right? Campaign 2, same thing. I have 5 characters this time. If all 5 of them make it to the end, all 5 of them get released into the world. The next campaign is going to be 4 or 5 more characters. Then there's 15 people out there, one per, player, right? Whatever.
And
And
then
all of
whenever
them
we
can
get
then
to
come together.
the climactic battle, we'll switch between each of the different groups.
Yes.
You ever played Sonic Heroes?
Sonic Heroes? No, I don't think so.
That's the one where you have a 3-man team. It's somebody's speed, power, and flight. And there's 4 different teams that you play. There's Team Sonic with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Team Dark with Shadow, Rouge, and Omega. Team Chaotix with Charmy, Vector, and SBO. And Team Rose with Amy, Cream, and Big the Cat. And throughout the whole game, there's one overarching story, but they each have you play through each of their 4 different perspectives, pretty much. And then by the end, after you collect all the Chaos Emeralds, there's the big bad. Team Sonic goes super, and then the other 4 or the other 3 teams, they play support. And so what happens is, as you're playing as Team Sonic to take down the big bad, it jumps between them and the other teams, and you're playing support as them as you're trying to help the other team defeat the big bad.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so that's what I thought of immediately.
Dude, I could see that. Yeah.
We're talking about D&D, so I'll talk about my D&D stuff. I've been slowly cooking up a campaign, which I'm going to have you in. I don't care what you say. You don't have a choice.
Hey, all right.
Hopefully. But it's the volcano one. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it before on here.
Yes. Yeah. That you've rebooted that project, huh?
Yeah. Nice. I've been trying to kind of figure out how I wanted to do it, because I know the way that you have your world set up is it's a realm. It's not like a world that we know of.
That is correct.
And so I was like, I like that concept. So instead of trying to create an entire world, I'm just going to create a realm, and just work from there. And the way that I have it set, because yours is going in almost a sequential order of events. So this happens here, and then we jump to this other place, which canonically would take place after the events of the first one, and then the next story is going to do the same thing, blah, 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 blah. But with mine, I'm going to do and then you woke up, and it was all a dream kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
But it's more so because the way I want to do it is I want to have people who have played D&D before, kind of have experience, and I want to do a one-shot. And the one-shots, the whole point of the campaign is to prevent a volcano from erupting.
Sure. And like a cataclysmic world-ending event?
Yeah. And so it's called Volcapocalypse. It's pretty cool. And so it's going to start off with a one-shot, and everybody's going to make level 10 characters. So then they could pop off, do some cool stuff, because I feel like, every time we play D&D, you start off with level 1 and you got to build up to it, or like you start off, I don't know, maybe it's level 3, level 5, but a lot of times in the long-term ones, it's hard to get to those higher levels.
True. Definitely takes time.
Exactly. And so I'm like, I want to have some players make level 10 characters, and so they can pop off, create builds that are like Buster or whatever, and try to prevent this volcano from erupting. And then some events may or may not happen based on that. And then the characters they're gonna make 2 characters. You're gonna have level 10 characters and level 1 characters, but they're not gonna be the same people. Because what's gonna happen is your consciousness is gonna end up in somebody else's body, essentially.
Interesting.
So you still retain all your memories of what happened, but now you're a different person. But the other thing is, the characters that you guys made are in the world. They're like legendary heroes.
Oh, sure.
That are out in the world. And so now you go from being this legendary hero of legend in the world, and now you're just this nobody person. Who just
fight
now
your way
exists.
back up?
Yeah, fight your way back up. Maybe try to reconnect with your other self? ?
Yeah.
I haven't got that far, but and I liked how you ran your first campaign with all the military factions, whatnot. The different factions, I should say, because we had 3 main ones. 4. We had 4. When we did our campaign, and so I was like, I kind of like the idea, because I usually write story to build on a story, and like focus only on that, not things outside of it that it could be happening at the same time.
Oh yeah, world politics.
Yeah, and so like the first like big campaign thing that's going to be happening, not campaign, but the first big story that you have is
Yeah.
they're going to wake up or they're going to be in this small town that's kind of secluded from the rest of the island. Or it's on the island, but it's kind of closed off from everywhere else because the train system isn't working. It works on a big train system, so you have
Oh,
to
okay.
find a way to make that work. But you're gonna get employed by like the mayor of the town and different little smaller factions in the town that are like gangs, mob type beat.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and you're trying to basically you're gonna be the driving force of who gets elected as the next mayor.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
Elections, always fun.
Yeah, so like very political for the first one because you know D&D is always like, oh, I cast fireball.
Yeah.
Oh, I sneak around and kill this guy. I also like the idea that your actions might not have the wildest consequences, but they
Hmm.
people are always watching.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
But
and
politics is also
so
really good for, like, later game, I'm sorry,
oh
what am I saying?
100%.
Like,
But
better
in game
experienced players.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
'cause
it's-
some of us tend to get bored with the, "I swing my sword at it."
Oh, 100%. I've never been good at like the puzzles aspect of D&D.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But I think I'd like to think I do a decent job with roleplay, even though I haven't really done much of
Mm,
that yet. But the plan is to. Um, and so like, yeah, so you start off in this town, you do all the politics or whatever, and you make your connections and whatnot.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
and this is one of those games where whoever you interact with and make connections with may or may not help you in the future. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
but the
Could also be
big
villains.
True. That's
Mhm.
the other thing. This one is not going to be completely limited to I have to be the hero. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean, if that's how it ends up,
Yeah.
sure. You could just be enemy of the people, you know. But
Oh, interesting.
the big main the first campaign is you have to get off the island or off
Right.
the country. You have to get out of the country because you need
Mm.
to get to the volcano. The volcano's in the center of the realm, but you can't leave that country because there's a magical barrier that's up that's
Ah,
preventing
right.
anybody from coming in or going out. Only
Nice, okay.
very few people have been able to do that, kind of like Lowvale, but there's no contagion.
Sure. Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
but like there's several different places that you can go to on this in this country, but a lot of them have been affected by the tremors and the emergence of the
Mm.
volcano. And so I have an old map and a new map, and so like you see the old map as you play through, but as you go through it's going to evolve to the current map that has all the
Oh,
things that have
cool.
been affected by the volcano. It's going to be super cool.
Yeah,
And like and
Levolution.
yeah, and there's this the center of the island is this not coliseum, what's it called? Like a fortress. It's
Okay.
almost like a military fortress, but it's owned by the church. One of the churches of
Ah,
the
I
world.
see.
And the you have to eventually you'll end up going there and you have to there's several ways you can do it. I'm not limiting the players to what they can do
Mhm.
because I think it's a lot more fun to see what the players can do with freedom. Maybe not so much
Oh,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, you just do whatever you want, but
Right.
like give them a couple of options, and if they choose those, cool. If they find another option, that's
Mm.
even cooler for the characters because it's like, oh, I paved this way for this to happen.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's an interesting way to play. Well, in specifically regards to the, like, very player driven.
hmm
I've seen people online, and I've never done this myself because I think it's too scary,
hmm
or I don't know. I don't have the right group. I don't have the right DM. We haven't done this kind of campaign where it's like you're dumped in a town. Like, well, okay, maybe I should describe how it works from the DM's perspective, right? Where you just put people in a town and then you go like, "You're sort of heroes. There are monsters out there. Where do you wanna go?" And you
hmm
literally in your DM prep screen, you have, like, a town and nothing else. And you
hmm
just, like, kinda make stuff up as you go, but it's so player driven, like, "Hey, well, we need to fortify our town to prevent, like, a monster incursion," right? That's, like, the only thing that's happening.
hmm
How do we do that? Well, we need to get gold. How do we get gold? We need to go find some, I don't know,
Got
magic
it. So
items to
they're
sell.
literally building the story.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's such a
Gotcha.
fascinating concept that I would love to be a part of, but A, don't have a DM, B, don't have the players for it, and the only time I've seen it attempted, it, fell apart very quickly because the players it's so player oriented or player driven, I should say, that
hmm
there's a bunch on the players. So you kind of
Fair enough.
weirdly feels like it has to be a DM running the game for other DMs. Like, do
Mhm.
I'm sure you remember that one
Yeah,
the one we co-DM'd where we
that was
kept trading
fun.
it off.
We
Yeah,
should do that again. That'll
that
give me
sort
more
of
DM
concept
experience.
where, like, you're just bouncing off of each other. Like, it's so much, not role play,
Improv.
yeah, improv. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for, yeah. It seemed really cool. I'd love to do something like that someday.
100%. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I feel like you need people who are good at improv, good at
Mhm.
possible like being realistic with things. Like, oh, we realistically
Yeah.
need this thing,
Right,
and as
yeah.
well as people who are extremely imaginative and creative.
Yeah.
Because if you have players who are just used to just I hit things, they're
Right.
not going to be thinking
Mhm.
about, oh, I need this many resources to do this, or we have to convince the governor to do this, and in order to do that we have to get money to like
Yeah.
it's yeah. I don't i don't plan on doing mine to that extent.
Sure.
Like, i'm gonna I have the world, I have like major plot points that I want to happen,
Yeah.
and I've got the story, and if they dilly dally or like they're kind of lost, I am gonna
Mm.
have things to push them in a direction.
Right.
um and it's like, I think the way that I'm kind of looking at making it is like an RPG game. Like,
Okay,
it's a
sure.
TTRPG, obviously, but like
Yeah.
you have your main quest, and then you have all your side quests that pop up,
Mm.
or you can, like, whenever I play RPGs, I've talked about it before. I love to do all the side quests first. I
Yeah,
love to
yeah.
get all the things I can get before I move on to the next part of the story. So it's gonna be or like, I love to talk to all the people to either get lore or maybe create connections, get
Right.
some more side quests, things like that. And so I think that's kind of how my vision for it is.
Hmm.
Um, and so, like, it also is fun for as a DM to do that, because then you get to do a lot more world building and lore
Very
dumping and
true.
playing NPCs.
Mhm.
Because like, they're in that first town again. You have the mayor. That's like the main quest. The
Right.
mayor wants you to help him get reelected by, I don't know, some way, shape, or form. I haven't got that far. Probably just doing tasks for people, and or like getting rid of opposition per se, things
Mhm.
like that. And like being like, oh, we represent the mayor. I think you should reelect him because this and this and that. And then
Right,
you'll have
yeah.
people who are like against him for one reason or another,
Mm.
and it's like, huh. The player could be like, that's cool. This isn't my fight, so I don't really care. Or they're like, you know what? They
Sure.
make a good point. Or hell, they might even be like, you know what? I'm gonna run for mayor.
Oh,
Um,
okay, yeah.
like, I want it to be like, not so much that you have as much freedom as you can, but
Mm.
like, if you have an idea, we could try to run with it and see where it goes, but it
Yeah.
won't be completely detrimental to the entire campaign. But whatever you do is going to affect other people.
Right, yeah.
And there's two mansions in the center of town, and they're basically the two gangs in town. Uh,
Oh,
and the
okay.
town itself was founded by these two families. One of them is
Right.
related to the mayor. The other one is the other founding family, and they've
Mm.
been trying to reclaim power of the town, and so they're going at it. And so, you're going to end up getting, or they're either side or both sides are going to try to recruit you, or recruit the players.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it's either going to be like you don't choose a side and just let them deal with their own stuff, or
Oh,
you do
sure.
choose a side and you go against the other one. But I want to do my best to make most things that they do be questionable, or they
Yeah.
make them question their actions, because it's like, are you just doing this as basically a hired mercenary? Is this gonna
Oh.
affect your humanity
Or do you
and
think
your
it's better for the
morality?
overall of the town?
Yeah. Is the town miserable with the current mayor, but he's the one
Right.
who hired you, so you have to work with him? Are you gonna keep
Mm.
working like that? Is the town flourishing with the current mayor, and this other family's like trying to dethrone him and make the
Mm.
world, or make the town a worse place, and then, the first actual like quest that you have is, when they come to, they're in this little inn that's really run down, and they hear yelling coming from downstairs or outside or whatever, and the inn's owner is being berated by the mayor's brother, who is the leader of one of those mansion gangs or whatever.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because he's once again late on payments, and he's going to get shut down, and he's trying to ask for, another loan or whatever. And
Right.
so it's going to paint the mayor's brother to be kind of a dick.
Sure,
Um,
yeah.
and so then he's like, "Hey, I know this place is run down. I'm not going to charge you to stay here. You can stay here as long as you want. However, but if you can help me rebuild this place and get some
Yeah.
money, like, you can stay here for as long as you need." And so
Oh,
he'll
yeah.
he'll send you on little mini quests to be like, "Hey, can you go over to the carpenter and, get some supplies so we can start
Yeah.
rebuilding," things like that. And, that's one of your side quests. You don't have to do that, but you could rebuild his inn, and build
Yeah.
rapport with that, and get on his good side. Um, and that whole thing, that's kind of what I want to do. I want it to be
Hmm.
like everything you do is gonna have some kind of consequence, whether it's good or bad. Um,
Yeah, I think that 5e, if you're planning on running it in 5e, I think
yeah.
they have there is like a reputation system
Hmm.
that is, I believe, an optional mechanic
Hmm.
that I've never really used before because it seems like a little convoluted for what you need to do with it.
Yeah.
But that might be something to look into if you're. I sort of just track it individually, like like I remember what your actions are. I'm not going to assign you a number. Like, oh, because you've done this, you gain +1 reputation with Lothor or whoever you happen to
Yeah.
be with.
It's probably uh not surprising that I've been wanting to do this more and more, and do
Mm.
it this way since I finished Veilguard, and that's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
how it is.
sure.
Your responses and your actions will gain you reputation
Hmm.
with certain factions, and lose your reputation with certain faction with your companions. Everything you do,
Yeah,
they can improve
yeah.
or disprove, things like that. Uh, and so that's kind of how I am, or how I want to do it, and how, like, if you have a better reputation with this group, like, oh, if you go to this certain merchant, you can get discounts, or if you go to this one
Oh
because you have bad
yeah.
reputation, they're gonna hike up the prices and things
Right.
like
Yeah.
that. Um,
Hmm.
and I might not do it to that extent, because that is a lot to keep up with.
It is a little nitty gritty. Yeah.
Um, but, like, that's the first town that you're gonna deal with. That would be like,
Hmm.
uh, where did we start off in the Kine Islands? We did the Cinnamon Festival, and then where did we
Yeah.
go?
Then you got thrown into a tiny fishing village, and they were like, "There's wolves, please."
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's yeah. And then outside of that island, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's
Hmm.
this islands, or this country made of islands, who there's a world council,
All right.
that's kind of like the World Council floating island, where, all the nations in the world, in the realm, they meet up to
Yeah.
have politics and stuff,
Sure.
to do
Yeah.
politics. And it's one of those things where it's like, the more area you have, the more representatives you have. This
Okay.
land of this island, this country of islands, doesn't have a lot of land mass, so
Hmm.
they get shafted all the time, and they're
Oh
sick of
yeah.
it. And they're like, you know what? We're gonna show the world that we're somebody to mess with. And so they're
Hmm.
going throughout the world, starting chaos and starting wars,
Oh
to
yeah.
prove that they're
Excellent.
somebody to deal with, that they got a lot of battle power on their side. There's two other countries that are like, it's, what do they call them, Tehran Alpha and Tehran Beta. They're
Hmm.
currently warring with each other. It's kind of like a
Ah.
it used to be one nation, but it's been divided in half, and they're warring with each other.
Yeah.
There's
Post-war Germany, North South Korea, that kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah. I have the magical center of the world, which is called the Witch's Claw. Because it looks
Ooh.
like a claw, and I thought it's pretty cool. And that's
Nice.
where, like, a lot of the hardcore mages are, and,
Yeah.
like, different magic and stuff like that. There's another place where all the religious stuff, the religious outpost is for, like, all the
Yeah.
religions of the world. And, like, there's technically 3 or 4 main religions in the world,
Okay.
and they all stem from one.
Hmm.
Kind of like, Catholicism, Christianity, things like that.
Yeah,
And
Protestantism and
yeah,
the other ones.
but they believe in similar things, or like they
Yeah.
kind of like the Abrahamic religions, where they all kind of stem from the same thing, but their
Oh yeah.
beliefs and their gods are different. Uh,
Sure.
and because all of them have different explanations for how the realm was created. And
Oh,
it's a
nice.
whole thing.
Yeah.
And so there's one specific one that is a faction that's in the world that's kind of
Mm.
causing chaos. They're the ones who I think it's the cult of Adius, if I remember correctly. They're the main ones who want the volcano to erupt because they
Oh.
believe that their god is trapped inside the volcano.
Mm.
Um, and so
Destruction and rebirth.
exactly.
Mhm.
There's their opposing religion, which is the cult of Aya, I think,
Mm.
or something like that. And no, the cult of Fea, I think the prophets of Fea, I think is what it was.
Oh,
Um,
sick.
th- they believe in like the god of like creation and like protection, things like that, and
Okay.
how she's kind of the god of the world, and kind of going up against the cult. And it's funny
Right.
because in terms of the religion, those two gods, those two
Mm.
deities are siblings. So we have one that's about
Oh,
creation, one that's about destruction. And
nice. Okay.
so one's trying to bring about the destruction of the world, the other one is not. Um, there's also these twins, these magical twins in the world
Mm.
that have cool, super cool magical abilities that aren't explained in D&D, which it doesn't matter right now.
Okay,
Um,
sure.
but that allows them to kind of supersede some magical laws in the world, such as that
Okay.
magical barrier around that first country that they're stuck in. They're
Right.
able to go in and out at their leisure.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But those twins are also the same twins in the one shot that you're gonna meet, and they're the ones responsible
Ah.
for you guys going back in the past.
Okay, interesting.
Uh, and so I don't know yet where I want to do with them, but I think originally the plan was you're gonna be with one of them, or one of them finds you guys,
Yeah.
um, and they're like, I remember what happened. Like I got a vision of what happened. I know who you guys are. I'm here to
Mm.
help you guys. But I need to find my twin. And my
Huh.
twin is in this other country, so we have to get out of here in order
Yeah.
to go meet up with them. And so that's another driving force for you to have to get off the country. The other thing is, if you do go to this the religious outpost in the that first country, and again, there's several ways you could do it. You can have like fight your way to destroy the barrier. You
Right.
can side with them and somehow get like their blessing or whatever, and they allow you to leave.
Oh,
But the
sure.
barrier stays up, things like that. But one of the things is, if you destroy the barrier, they basically were Japan when they closed their borders off for the rest of the world.
Oh, right.
And so it's going to be like that. And so whenever if the barrier comes down, then now they're open to the chaos of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And that one nation that's going around causing problems, causing wars everywhere, they're going to
Mm.
make their way over to that country now. And this
Yeah,
country
okay.
is very docile. It doesn't have a military force, or a main military force, that is.
Right, yeah.
So if they get taken over, then it's like, oh, that kind of sucks. That's on us. But
Mhm.
that's not our problem. Or maybe it is our problem. Now we have to go back and help them fight this war. It's a whole thing.
You know what I think would be an interesting deep dive, because we've referenced a whole lot of history.
Uh
Right? I do the exact same thing, where
huh.
it's like, I just basically
Have
took
you heard
like
about the
a
not?
real world event. Yeah, yeah, and it's like, all right, well, what would that look like in, a fantasy dimension, right?
Yeah.
And then you attach like a claim to it, but how far back do you think you could go looking at their like, what are the claims? Like, I know certain biblical ones, right?
Mm.
Like maybe the pharaohs and the Jewish people when they were like,
Let
in
my people
biblical
go.
times.
Mm.
Like I don't remember exactly what their full claim was. They're just like, yeah, we own you, work.
Yeah.
Like, what was
I don't know.
it might have been divine, like a divine call from the
Mhm.
Pharaoh where they were like, well, yeah, we are gods, or rather, like the Pharaoh, I am a god.
Yeah. You guys are
All
lesser
of you
to us, so
people, yeah, we have conquered you because we are superior.
mhm.
Like,
I
yeah, you
don't
just
know.
steal that
I gotta
exact
do more
mentality.
research. I gotta go back into the Bible and read through that story, because that'd be
Yeah,
cool to
yeah.
have one of those situations for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love world building and I love story writing, and so that first country alone
Yeah.
is going to be so rich in just
Yep.
different stories going on, because you have that first area that you start
Yeah.
in, you're going to be there for a while. You have the train
Mm-hmm.
station, or the railroad system that goes around the entire island.
Yeah.
The main station for the train station gets sunken because of
Mm.
the volcano emerging, and it just becomes this.
Oh.
Oh no, there's just a small volcano that emerges there,
Yeah.
and you have to either go on foot from there or find some way to get the station back up and running or something.
Right.
There's like this vacation spot, in one of the cities is a vacation spot, and that one becomes a giant sinkhole. And if you go
Oh.
visit there, you can hear the voices of the people still screaming when it happened. But that's also
Ah.
because there might be still a town way down there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a hidden town in a forest.
Hmm.
There's one that's just like a farmer's town. There's that religious let's just say cataclysm. The
Hmm.
place that put up the barrier in the world that's
Oh,
barricaded
right.
itself off. Like there's a whole bunch of things going on, and I love making stories happen and
Yeah.
writing things out. And so whenever I would love to get to a point to where I can have players play it.
Hmm.
And because there's gonna be so much going on, it'll be one of those things where it's like, even if I'm not close to being done, I'll
Yeah.
have enough to run at least a campaign
Yeah.
or start a campaign and keep writing as I go.
Oh gosh. Yeah, that's a real trick of it, right?
Yeah.
I did that with Low Veil and really overestimated how much I had prepared. I was like, yeah, I got enough. Let's go, man. I'll write the ending as we go. And then we got halfway through and I'm like, all right, you've caught up to me. I can't write faster than you can progress.
You could have just done a Full Metal Alchemist and just started making your own story, and then come
Hmm.
back to it with your next group, and then do the actual story.
True. Yeah. I mean, that's why I like the Kind Island so much. I've retreaded that 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Low Veil, I've only retreaded once. If we get beyond this, and when we get beyond this, I'm scared because then I gotta write. I gotta really do writing. Like all I have is general
Mm.
plot points, and getting actually down into it and doing the map making stuff. Like I don't know how far you are into. You've discussed like a couple of gods.
Mm.
I basically what I did. I mean, this was like, oh gosh, 8 years ago now.
Mm.
Was I looked up the D&D, like a standard D&D pantheon, right? Because all the classes, lore-wise, a lot of them tie into certain gods, like a
Yeah.
cleric, right? If you're going to be a life cleric, you kind of need a god of life to help that cleric.
Fair
So
enough.
I took this like chart of all this stuff and went like, okay, erase name, erase name, erase name. Combined these couple of ones that I think made more sense, like life and nature, rather than creating two different, like a life god and a nature god. I just did a life and a nature, and I think there's 3 for each,
Mm.
just so that I could kind of containerize all of them, and then made up all of these like sort of things about them and like what
Oh,
they
that's
do
right.
and all this stuff. And
Mm.
now I'm very glad that I did that because I can reference that if I ever need to, but I haven't had to very often. It's just handy to have something like that, especially for like world building sake and like
Mm.
actually have like a fully fleshed out world. But man, is it tedious. Trying to create
Oh, that's
original
right.
gods is
Mm-hmm.
pretty painful.
Oh, 100%.
Mhm.
Here, I'm gonna share my screen real quick with you.
Oh, yeah.
So hold on. There we go. So this is I don't know if you can see this. This is all of my
Oh, okay,
currently
there we go.
this is currently all my stuff that I have for that campaign written out.
There's a
Uh
typo in the,
don't worry about that. I still got to make a lot of maps for a
Uh-huh.
lot of things. A little description for some stuff. These are some NPCs that I'm
Oh my
working
god, dude.
on.
Oh, pause. Stop what you're doing right now.
Okay.
Get Obsidian, for the love of God. Don't do this like this.
I know. I will.
This
That's
is
the plan.
madness.
That's the plan. That's the plan. I just haven't. I'm just still in the idea phase right now.
Okay, sure.
But like the twins, their name is Sargon and Felicity. Pretty cool
See,
names.
you've highlighted them red and green. In Obsidian, those would be hot links, and you could just click on them and it'd take you to the character.
Yes, we're gonna transpose those over. I swear.
Do it earlier, not later.
Okay.
It took me a month, man. It took me a month to transfer 130 something pages of a Google Doc into Obsidian.
Fair enough.
It was crazy.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that today. We'll see what happens. There's Midnight, who's a spy that follows the party after they cause some mess in the town.
Oh yeah, okay.
Don't know anything about that person. Oh, we already looked at that. There's the events. Oh, I wrote out what's gonna happen when they start the full campaign.
Right, yeah.
that's just music. This I wrote out what I was gonna say for like session 0. So like this is like the introduction speech, and then like
Oh,
and all that stuff. This is
you
what my
wrote out like an opening cinematic. This is great.
yeah, and then like this is what my expectations are gonna be for the game. This is the
Yeah.
play style. These are the restrictions and things like that. And then talking to the players. What do you like? What do you want out of this, etc., etc. Um,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, these are the locations in the city I was writing out. Uh, this is my lore dump about the Great Schism
Okay.
of the major religions, the cult of Adius and the prophets of Phaya. There's the
Hmm.
mother religion, which is something with their parents. It's a whole thing.
Sure.
Uh, then I started writing it as if it was if I was writing it in a book for like a DM to play.
Right. Yeah.
And so I started writing all that out.
This is good. This makes it repeatable. This doesn't make it a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the goal. Then I started writing quests. You have Sebastian's place repairs that one in I was telling you about, helping the
Oh, right.
mayor.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Yakov request and the Mular's request. These are the gangs. Then there's one that I completely forgot I started writing, the sibling rivalry. There's some
Wizards that are beefing.
yeah. But that's what I got for that. And then here's some
Yeah.
maps that are pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
This is the town that you're gonna be in, that you start in.
Nice.
This is the world map. It's slowly getting built more and more as I finish like hold on. As I finish the maps of like the country level, I'm gonna
Yeah.
edit it onto the big map.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is the bay in a volcano. This is one of the entryways here. I forgot I could do that. This is what it looks like after the volcano emerges, etc., etc. But yes,
Nice. Okay.
working hard. I
That's
will be
cool.
transcribing, transposing whatever those over.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do today, since I have nothing but time.
Mm.
After this, we'll see what happens.
See, the
Because I think
only
I started actually doing that.
Mm.
Hold on, sorry, continue. I'm gonna pull up.
Oh, my main question, I guess, is like how, because it seems as if there isn't a lot of I kind of got to back this up. So the way that I do it, right, is I tend to create the characters, and then there's like a lot of lore that is before them,
Mhm.
before they join the campaign, like enough to get them to level 1, right, quote unquote,
Yeah.
but rather than just a regular standard villager.
Mhm.
Um, which I at least personally, I tend to find that really helps with when I'm playing the character, because I have all this lore that ties in with them.
Mhm.
Um, and I imagine you will be able to do that with the level 10, like, superhero characters. But, like, the level
Yeah.
1 people is the concept that they're going to be building out that sort of hero's journey?
I guess so. I
Hmm.
don't think I thought that far into it. Uh, I think because it's still kind of on the idea phase.
Yeah.
Because the other idea was, oh, you start off at this level, this is
Right.
what's happening here, and then you go back in time. And the original idea was you're gonna take that character and now you make him level 1.
I see.
Um,
Okay.
but the thing about that felt like
Right,
for
because you said it was
me,
just sort of their same head, so they're kind of just
yeah,
occupying a basic, like, a standard villager, and that very transference of power into them gets them to level 1. I can see that.
yeah.
Okay. I like that.
And then I think what I'll do, because my friend Anthony, he's working on a campaign for Monsters of the Week that's kind of
Hmm.
like the office setting. Um
Mhm.
and so what he wants to do is, when the characters make their players, let's try this again. When the players make their characters,
Right.
he's gonna have them have, like, there's people that they're gonna create in the office as their connections. And they're gonna be real NPCs in the story. So then I was like,
Okay.
now I'm thinking, if I do the thing where their consciousness goes to a villager, or like some another person in this village, then I need to have the characters create, like, connections, either create connections
Right.
for their new characters, or I make connections for them. But I feel like that feels less fraudulent, or that feels more fraudulent if I make it for them, just
Sure.
because I want them to be like, oh, so oh, in my backstory, I had this character kind of have a best friend, and then all of a sudden, they're showing up as a best friend, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, so and so, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been? And then you're just like, oh, I'm good because you have the consciousness of the other person in there.
Right, yeah.
So now it's like, do you pretend to be that person?
Hmm.
Because I guess they had lives before. Or the other idea I had for it was they're just wandering. They're just a small group of people who happen to be adventurers that just were sleeping in that town overnight, and they have no connections yet. And
Oh, yeah.
that might be easier to do.
Honestly, yeah.
So I might just do it that way.
Hmm.
That way I don't have to worry about, dang, now you have to either act like this person or people are going to think, oh, what's going on with you? You're not like,
Yeah.
you're acting a lot more different.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting sort of dynamic between the players and the NPCs.
Yeah. The only thing with
It's like you're
that,
a totally different person. I
I don't even
am.
know you anymore. I'm your wife. Not really, but okay. But what's it
I've never
called?
seen this person's name before in my life.
The thing about doing it the other way of where they're just random adventurers who happen to be in town
Yeah.
is then they're going to be a completely blank slate, which I guess that
True.
doesn't isn't too terrible. Um
Yeah, I mean, if their tie is more with the twin or whoever is like, hey, I know what you are. I can help you get back to yourself.
yeah,
That would be, their tie to stop the volcano or whatever.
fair enough. I need to figure out if I do want their level 10 the level 10s to actually be in the
Hmm.
world or some reason they're not. Maybe they got trapped in time or something and they have to get
Oh,
back to their original bodies or something. I don't
yeah.
know. I haven't figured that part out yet, but I like the idea of, oh, we made these busted ass characters. We're doing
Right.
some crazy stuff in this volcano, and now we're just level 1 fodder.
Yeah.
But our previous character is out in the world doing some crazy stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That was the original idea, and with that, I was gonna have the players make backstories for their level 10
Hmm.
characters. So then, when they get transferred to these other guys, their characters are still out there doing their stuff based on their backstory.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Hmm.
Um, and then I think because of the World Council, they call on the most legendary of individuals to prevent this volcano from erupting.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
something like that. But I don't know. I haven't figured that far out yet. So,
Yeah.
but when I do, I'll keep you updated. This is a very D&D heavy
Sure.
episode.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep going because
Yeah.
we just recently I sent you a message about this on Discord, but
Oh yeah, I forgot to look at it.
I'm in a character slump, I guess, at the moment
Hmm.
because so I've been a player in this campaign with my friends that I used to work on film with, and well, also other stuff, but they're sort of my friends from when I was up in Dallas, at least part of that friend group, plus some other people. This is unrelated to the story, but for about 2 years, I had been on this. This is maybe year three, I think. We're going into year three.
Hmm.
For the first 2 years, I had played the same character. It was this person called Anatopsis, and it was three people. It was a barbarian, a bard, and a ranger. They were all part of the same soul, and they sort of just recycling every time we died. We would spawn a new one. Just the mechanics of the game that we were playing.
Hmm.
When that character died, uh, or when that part of the story ended, we were supposed to pick one of them to be. I, of course, went a different route with it, and I picked a fourth character,
Hmm.
this little fairy called Sonestina.
I do remember her.
Yeah, she was like a little necromancer wizard. Very cool. One of my favorite character designs, at least she turned into that because she was kind of basic at the beginning. But uh, her whole gimmick that I was trying to go for is because I was very used to sort of playing like very forward characters,
Hmm.
like all not quite face of the party, but I would also do machinations behind everybody's back to try and forward
Because
my
you're
own
awful.
goals because I'm a DM at heart, I guess. Sonestina was like very much the opposite of all of that, to the point where she refused to speak and she would communicate through a illusion spell. She would pure visual try and describe what was going on. And that was sort of mixed yes and no. It didn't work sometimes. It worked other times. I personally liked it because it let me describe what I was doing rather than just saying it. And so
Hmm.
it was designed to be an interesting challenge for myself. Then it ended up being like 2 years of playing that character where I said almost nothing during every single game outside of describing what my character was describing. It was very weird. It's very weird. If I get to go back to her because she did end up getting killed, I definitely am going to try, and because I think she's been on enough of an arc that she's going to be speaking. Purely because I got to play a character that did speak for the last, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year, somewhere close to that, probably 6 months, where I was given a new character by the DM who gave me I used to play Mordenkainen, a very legendary character in the D&D lore. He gave me a different character, also a legendary character in the D&D lore, this guy named Kos, K-A-S. He has ties in with Vecna because that's sort of the big bad of our campaign.
Oh.
And but there's not a lot of lore about Kos. I mean, there is a lot, but not my kind of lore. It's stuff like, oh, yes, he worked in this city. He has like a legendary item. He's very attempting to kill Vecna all the time. And so I was given this this sort of lore and gone, okay, expand upon it. And so I expanded upon it. I invented like um, the city that I'm protecting. I'm like a general of, and it's sort of a caste system. My character is part of the higher caste, and there's like a lower caste that we look down on. But my character is very much Kos is very much like a sort of a freedom fighter kind of thing. But because he's part of the upper order and is in charge of everything, he's sort of a balancing act where he's putting on a like a fake front to try and stay in control and help the people that are being downtrodden while also oppressing them. So it's like this weird balancing act of everybody thinks he's like a super racist, but he's actually the total opposite of it. If that makes any sense. He it was doing like he was kicking down doors and killing people, but he was also giving those same people like a heads up. Like, oh, hey, there's a raid coming, get out of the building. And ended up like also invented he has a wife, and this wife is part of the lower caste. He has a child with his wife, and then the wife gets discovered, and he is ordered to put her to death. This is all stuff that I just kind of invented because I was like, I need some backstory that explains what I'm doing, so ordered to put his wife to the death, but managed to keep his child a secret. And then swore an oath of vengeance against this ruling class to fight back against them and overthrow them. Really, it was going to be a total head-to-toe revolution of the city. Flash forward, I think 30 years, maybe? That was when I actually start playing the character. So this all happened to him when he was like 25, 26. We flash forward to him at like 55 years old, still slowly trying to make things happen, not really able to do too much. That was when all of the rest of the party who were involved in the big campaign show up and start causing chaos in the city. I get introduced at that point. We played for probably 4 or 5 months where they thought my character was like exactly what I was describing, like basically a racist oppressor of all of the underlings.
Like,
and the entire time I'm having to keep that a secret from them and from, the NPCs that the DM is running. Until I think it literally was the last session or the final 2 sessions, which was sort of a back-to-back super session where we got this legendary sword that turns out was sort of the whole plot of why they had come back to this particular space and time was to get this legendary sword in order to kill Vecna. We finally got the sword, and of course it's like cursing Kos and causing him to slowly die because it's a super powerful weapon and blah 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 blah, right? And I finally get to have I had gone over this scene. I don't know. I lost count of how many times. It's like, how do I explain his motivations, like why he's trying to do what he's doing? And I finally, like, I had it in my head that we were going to have a campfire scene, and Kos was going to be talking to somebody and, sort of giving his big crybaby backstory about, oh yeah, like my wife, and I had to kill my wife, and this
Not my
person killed her.
wife.
Right. So I finally got to. They actually the party. The way that it happened actually was the party was off to the side scheming because they're trying to get the sword away from me because they need the sword to kill Vecna.
Mm.
And so they're over there going like, maybe we could get it away from him. And then they look over and they're like, what is Koss doing right now? And I was, me and the DM, we kind of have I don't really know. It's sort of like a give and take kind of thing where like I'll just like like softballs up to him, like, what do you think about if me and this character were talking? And he's like,
Mm.
yeah, the two of you were talking at the fire. And it was in that moment that I was like, can anybody read lips? And one of them does have the feat observant that allows you to read lips from a distance.
Oh, that's
and
a
so,
thing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so Koss holding, like clutching the sword still, because he has like not let go of it for like a day and a half now. It's just like holding onto the sword and is explaining to Vecna, or rather to the like baby version of Vecna, sort of like a baby Hitler. They're like, maybe we should kill him now before he gets evil. Like, oh, maybe that's the event that makes him go evil as we attempt to kill him. That sort of thing. And in like the scene previous to this, I had shattered. Okay, right. Sorry, there is other lore that I've sort of skipped over. When I made the oath to overthrow the government in revenge for my wife, that was when I became an Oath of Vengeance paladin. And I forged a sword, the Holy Avenger, in order to fulfill that oath. And I like swore like a blood oath on this sword to avenge my wife. In the previous battle, we were fighting a lich, and I did such a powerful blow that I exploded the sword, turned it into like molten metal.
What the heck?
This, of course, tied into the forging of Koss's legendary sword. And so that exploded. I handed it off to Vecna. Vecna forged this super powerful sword, gave it back to me, thus the origins of the Sword of Koss. And so I was explaining at the fireplace all of this, right? Like, I was like, have I told you, like, why I'm so attached to this sword, what it means to me? And he's like, no, I don't think so. So then I got to do this, like, monologue scene of, like, many years ago, right? I had a wife. I have a child. You've met my child. I was ordered to put my wife to the sword, to this sword, or at least the heart of this new sword. And this is what I swore my oath on. And so I'm like giving this whole speech at a little fire, like really giving it my all, because I ran over that scene so many times in my head. Like, how am I going to explain this? What is it? What am I going to say? And I should have written it down, honestly, because I in hindsight, there were like 2 or 3 bullet points that I missed, but the overall like heartfelt stuff that I wanted to get through, I did. I got through all of it. And after the session, some of the players were like, they've been playing with me for 3 years at this point, right? But I've been playing this mute fairy girl who communicates through illusions. Sordestina has a lot of this lore attached to her, right? I have this whole castle. I have a whole one shot in my head of me explaining to the players why Sonestina is the way that she is. That I haven't gotten to fulfill because we're running this really sort of intergalactic campaign that there's not really all that time to really delve into individual backstories, which is something that I personally am like a really big fan of, right? So I finally get to, I have the moment of catharsis where I start explaining all of my backstory, obviously a very condensed version of it that kind of goes in like a single scene. And, get to explain, yes, I killed my wife. This sword means everything to me. Thank you so much for giving it to me. You and I, Vecna, we're like bonded. And in hindsight, like later that night when I was in the middle of the night, I like woke up and I was like, man, I forgot one thing that in the moment that I should have said, which was like, it was this line, right? Like, I was blessed with a daughter. Like my wife blessed me with a daughter. But if I had a son, I would wish he was exactly like you, Vecna. Which then would have played, it would have played so beautifully into the final scene, because there was this big reveal at the very end where the guy that told me to kill my wife had actually been replaced by a demon lord who was seeking to consume the city. And he had made a pact, or he had tricked my daughter into making a pact with him. She's like 12 or something. And he was like, "I'll bring your father to you if you agree to a deal." And, her being 12 and wanting to spend more time with her father, she's like, yes. So
Mm.
he now owned her soul, and she was his mortal coil that was keeping him attached to the plane. And so there was this big end sequence where the demon lord and my daughter and him was like, if you want me gone, you have to kill your daughter or make a deal with
Oh.
me and swap your souls. And I was like, okay, did sort of some of the math in my head and then ended up asking him, like, how long have you been the leader of the religious force here? Or how long have you been like the leader of the city? Did you tell me
Mhm.
to kill my wife? And he didn't confirm or deny it, but I was like, he did. He
He
killed my
definitely did.
wife, which means my oath of vengeance is against him. And now
Mhm.
he's taken my daughter from me. I owe him nothing. I owe him 2 counts of revenge. And so I was like, then I was playing it very gray, very middle zone, right? I was like, nobody knew. Is Jonathan going to make Koss kill his daughter? Or is he going to sell Koss's soul to this demon?
Yeah.
And before I get to do the big reveal of me smiting my daughter, which would have been devastating,
Mhm.
Vecna ripped the sword out of my hand, this like enchanted magic weapon that he had created that I was, extremely attached to, that had been the blade that killed my wife,
Mhm.
like ripped it out of my hand and made it stab through her, just like, sort of pierce right through her. And that ended up dispelling the demon and all that. And got to have this big final sequence after that where I was like, I don't know if you spared me the agony of killing my daughter, but you also took that choice from me. And so I was playing it like, hey, I don't know whether to thank you or to kill you. But I knew the canonical ending, right, was I have to swear my oath of vengeance against Vecna because that's what Koss did. And
Yeah.
so I sort of got to deliver one final monologue where I was like, I don't know whether to thank you or to kill you right now. And then sort of walking through my logic of, yeah, you took the agony of me killing my daughter from me, but you killed my daughter and you took my choice. If she was going to die, it should have been by my hand. And then I transferred my oath of vengeance from sort of that demon lord and the city itself purely to
To
Vecna. And I'm
Vecna.
like, you will die now.
Good
Took
lord.
the sword, killed him, and then that ended up being like sort of his final act that turned him into like a pure lich, like
Mhm.
the lich god that he becomes, or rather, sort of the final step before he ascends to semi godhood and all this stuff. So there was this beautiful sequence that led up to the end where I got to tell my whole story. The only thing that I missed out on was calling him, was wishing that he was my son, because that would have been, that would have been so cool. But yeah, I'm still glowing over the end of this campaign. And it just made me realize how much I really enjoy. Like they literally afterwards said, like, you're never allowed to play a mute character again, because
Absolutely
every
not.
time I'm given these kind of characters, I I just love going so in on everything that they are. Like Mordenkainen, and I got to do this whole PTSD arc.
Mhm.
I got to do machinations behind the scene. I got to backstab people. I got to do all this stuff. And then Cernestina's over here like trying to help. Like she has these motivations. Her end goal is, well, originally her end goal was to create an army of the undead and then liberate her home planet from the warring factions. She would join as one of the warring factions and try and take over the world,
That's
thus,
wild.
ushering in an era of peace.
Mhm.
She's not a necromancer anymore. She got turned into a lunar dragon, and there's this whole other thing that's going on.
What the heck?
That's Their plan still is, I need to take over this world. I need to bring peace to the planet. And the only way
Mhm.
she knows how to do that is conquering. Luckily,
Yeah.
now she's like a half dragon god who is going to, I fully intend on having her go back to her home planet and liberate it. But, that's a problem for a later time. And I haven't gotten to reveal her motivations for that
Mhm.
because we haven't had we didn't have one section of us being in one spot focusing on one character for so long. And I'm realizing I kind of have that similar problem where when I'm running the game, I don't fully allow for the characters to get super immersed, because I'm bringing them together. Like we're creating their backstory. Yeah. So all that stuff that I wrote for Cos, all of my current players, we have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But in order to like fulfill and like bring all of that about, only some of them are fully tied into the plot. Some of them are like coming from other lands, and so they're only loosely tied to the plot, which means in order for their, I don't know if they would experience that same level of just unadulterated joy that I got from going, I killed my wife with this blade. Do you know what this means to me? Yeah, like having that moment of my daughter dying in my hands, turning into ash. It was, oh my God, it's just wonderful. Like, I got to
Mm-hmm.
thank my DM for putting all that together. And it makes me go, I want to do that more for my players. And I want to do that more. Like, there's a reason I love playing. I mean, this is a bold statement that I love playing more than I love DMing, because they're very different experiences.
100%.
But I could never get that level of explosive energy if I was the DM, right? I would be
Mm-hmm.
watching someone else do that, and it would be fun for me, 100%. But getting to reveal all of that information and then getting to make that final choice was just so poignant. It was so beautiful and touching. Like,
Yeah,
I
I
need to
get
give
that
this
for
to people.
sure.
Yeah, I want to give it
Uh
to people so bad.
I I had my moment like that with Monsters of the Week. I'm sure I've talked
Mm.
about it before with Skeeter, my first
Oh,
character.
yeah.
Cuz what's it called? The way we had it played out is every campaign was a little episode essentially,
Mhm.
and we were playing it like a TV show almost. Um and so when we started with the pilot episode, he was originally just a gimmick character. He was just an incel,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he talked like this, and he was just a nerd. It was set in 1992, I believe. So
Okay.
like very stereotypical things like that.
Mm.
Um, and like he was just annoying as heck. He started off in a chat. His first like introduction scene was outside of us all starting off in jail. That's not important. Um,
Right.
but his character or his dad or I guess his stepdad. His stepdad is the police chief, and
Mm.
so he would always get in trouble, but he would get bailed out because
Classic.
his
Yeah.
yeah, and then also his mom would beat his stepdad's ass if he didn't get him out of there.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and so he was kind of like just used to the immunity of laws and whatnot.
Mhm.
And so like he started off like he had a chat room online with people who were like talking about conspiracies and possible monsters or whatever.
Right.
And somebody was like, "Hey," or I was like, one of the players, her character was still stuck in jail because she needed $500 bail, which $5 is a lot in 1992, by the way.
Yeah, true.
Um, but the player themselves had to go off to work, so that's why their
Mm.
character stayed in jail. And so then I was on that chat room, and I was like, "Hey, can somebody loan me $500? I need to help, get my friend out of jail."
Okay.
And somebody responded, and they're like, "Yeah, I got you. I can give you $500, but I know you have connections to the police." So I
Mm.
need you. So we can make it. We'll make a trade. Give me all the files on this specific person, and I'll give you the five hundred
Oh.
dollars.
Yeah.
The person that I needed to give the $500, or the person I needed to give the information of, was the same person I was trying to bail out of jail. That same
Oh, I
player.
see.
Uh, and Anthony does a really good job at making your choices matter and
Yeah.
your things matter. Because then, after I bail them out of jail, they come back from work or the next session, I can't remember. They go to their
Mhm.
home, they get attacked by a monster immediately, and
Oh,
so
sure.
I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm the reason why they get attacked." Oh no, blah 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 blah. I did tell the character, and she blew up on me. We weren't friends for a little bit. That we
Nice. Yeah.
reconciled. It was great. But like after like that first pilot episode of just being that incel, and I was going for the white knight. It was like, yeah, sure, I
Mm.
give away your information, but I'm the one who got you out of jail,
Right.
so
Yeah.
I'm not the bad guy here. And he went from like that kind of guy and the cowardly kind of guy,
Sure.
and then like the big monster we fought was uh a giant slime snake kind of deal that got it grew bigger when it absorbed water, and
Okay.
it started off at the rundown the rundown water park. So a giant
Oh,
snake monster.
nice.
And so like my whole thing was my biological father was a detective, so I
Right,
wanted to
right.
be a detective like my dad. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm gonna go check out this place by myself. It's storming. You can barely see anything. All you can
Mm.
really see is the glow of this snake monster that's trying to attack
Oh,
us or attack me. I'm hiding, whatever. I hear the other players, they show up, and they've got guns or whatever, and there's another person who shows up and he starts shooting at them, and all I hear is gunshots. So I'm running around, I'm scared. In the end, I end up killing the guy that was controlling the monster. I wasn't
right.
trying to kill him. Well, I wanted to be the hero, and so I have a katana because I'm a nerd in the 90s, and I'm running at him and I'm
Sure.
about to slash at him, and then I realize, oh, I could actually kill somebody, and so I don't slash. Instead, I kind of just push him and or tackle him, and we both fall down, and
Yeah.
I land on top of him, but he dies. And so
Oh,
that psychologically scarred my character for a while.
yeah, yeah.
um but then from there he goes from that incel nerdy loser white knight character to, dang, I actually killed somebody.
Mm.
I'm also the reason why my friend got attacked. I'm kind of a terrible person.
Oh, I
uh
see.
and then also like my stepfather doesn't like me because I'm a problem, but I'm not going
Mm.
to stop because my character's whole goal, outside of being a master detective, if that sounds
Right.
familiar,
Yeah.
a master wizard,
Oh, sure.
but being like the best detective of all time, was also to the underlying reason was to find my father, because my
Mm.
father disappeared
Okay.
when I was young. And then stepfather came into the picture, whole thing, resented him for most of my life because of, you're not my dad or whatever. And he's like, I'm
Right.
not trying to be
Naturally.
your dad, but
Yeah.
we got to do this for your mom, blah, 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 blah. So we were always butting heads or whatever. So then we start actually getting closer after that point. So that was nice.
Mm.
And, at a certain point, like I start confiding into him about the stuff going on in the world or in the town. And he's like, all right, well, since you guys know what's going on, y'all are going to be my special task force.
Oh,
And so
okay.
then we're the monster hunters. It's a whole thing. And I get my character, I guess me, I get a lot more empathetic towards other characters and other
Yeah.
players and things like that. And so I'm not a complete piece of shit anymore. And like, if you're watching this as in a TV show kind of way,
Mm.
I feel like you would be drawn to him because you see his character development from this complete dick with no regard for other people to putting himself or putting other people first and like
Oh,
putting
yeah.
himself in danger to save other people.
Mhm.
Like typical hero journey. He had the main character complex, I'll be honest.
Nice. Yeah.
um and so what ends up happening is, after a lot of other stuff happens with other monsters, we defeat an electrical monster, which that was crazy because I almost died. I think one of the other players almost died. Some really cool people showed up, they didn't do much. We took that guy down. um, oh wait, no, they didn't show up yet. And then one of the player characters, Jacob's character, was
Mhm.
revealed to actually be the doppelganger the whole time. Which the
Oh.
doppelganger was the person or the creature that his character was supposed to be hunting the whole time. But
Oh, I see.
and the doppelganger, he could take forms of people he's eaten. Uh, and
Oh.
so he's actually revealed to be Jacob's character the whole time. And then
Yeah.
Jacob's backstory kind of shows up with his character's family, and they have the whole little thing happening. But then
Hmm.
I'm like, we have to stop this guy. This guy pretended to be our friends. He betrayed us. Because he did end up betraying us several
Okay,
times,
sure.
looking back at it.
Oh, I
And
see.
so we're taking him down or whatever. We're fighting him. He ends up taking down Jacob's backstory characters or whatever.
Yeah.
um and so then we wound him really well. Oh, right. At some point, I get magical powers because I steal a book that has magic in it. And every time I level up, I have an opportunity to learn a new spell that I can kind of make up. And so I did one that
Okay.
like can heal. I think I did one that did like invisibility, I think. And
Yeah.
then the last one I did was kind of a an all or nothing kind of magical spell.
Mm.
And the way that monsters work is, it's not like D&D where you either like roll high enough and you pass, or you roll low enough and you fail. It's
Okay.
either you roll high enough and you get an amazing success, everything goes perfectly or even better than
Mhm.
perfect. You have your fail if you roll too low, but then you have a mixed success, which is
Right. Yeah.
you have some good and some bad. And so, because I didn't want it to be busted and like for free, I think I'm pretty good at making caveats for abilities.
Sure. Okay.
So that ability was if I roll too low, I fail and
Hmm.
it doesn't do anything.
Oh, right.
And I lose all my magical power. If I get the mixed success, I put a lot of my magical energy into this one attack. I hurt myself a lot, but I should be okay depending on how much life I have. Because you
Right.
only have
Okay.
7 hit points, by the way.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very much like you got to be real careful. But like I take some hit points, I do a decent amount of damage,
Hmm.
and then I roll again to see if I keep my magic. But if I get the great success, I put everything I have into this magical attack.
Okay.
Um, and I put everything I have into this magical attack. I lose all my magical abilities, and I roll to see if I die.
Okay.
So what happens is the doppelganger, he's running away after being wounded really bad. I chase after him. Everybody else is trying to like recuperate, heal up. Jacob's actual character showed up because he was in a pocket dimension the whole time, which
Oh.
that was kind of crazy.
Okay.
But I'm chasing after the doppelganger, trying not to let it get away because I'm like pissed off and like you betrayed us, but also you're a monster. We're monster hunters now, and
Right.
so I end up like tackling him or whatever, and I'm about to go for the killing blow, and then he shapeshifts into my father.
Whoa.
If you remember,
Interesting.
he can only turn into people that he's consumed.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, my father's gone because he was killed and eaten by this guy.
Wow. Yeah.
And my whole care, and I sat there for what felt like an eternity to try to figure out, am I gonna do this or not?
Hmm.
Because it's like,
You had the option in that moment to go, Papa, I'm with you.
no, not that. But I had the option to. Anthony said, "You have one action you can do.
Hmm.
You can either try to attack him and possibly kill him, or you can let him go free." Because I'm exhausted, I have a lot of hit points, I'm hurt, and I only have enough energy to do one more attack, and there's
Yeah.
a chance that I might not kill him.
Uh-huh.
But because he turned into Skeeter's dad,
Yeah.
and his whole thing was trying to find out where his father went and what happened to him,
Oh,
there was
right.
this moment of resolution that I
Nice.
felt.
Yeah.
And I said, based on his character development up until this point, it only makes sense for him to unleash all of his rage on this monster.
Hmm.
So I activate that spell
Yeah.
and I do the attack. Me and Anthony, we go off to the kitchen and make the roll for it.
Okay.
And I get the highest form. I get the more than perfect success.
Hmm.
Sorry, no, I do that first, and I do this really cool, super amazing action shot that like erupts into like red flame or red light all over the place, like a red glow everywhere.
Okay.
Oh, right. Also, there was two effects to that ability. The secondary one, or the main effect, was that all or nothing attack. The secondary effect was I would basically use like a sending spell and like send out a mental message to all the people I cared about,
All right.
and basically say, I gave them all individual messages. So like one of them was like, "Hey, I know I was a terrible person to you, but you've really made me become a better man than I used to be." Things like that. Blah 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 blah. It's
Yeah.
another one. Hey, like I've never had a sibling, but you were like the little brother I never had. Mom, I
Ah.
love you so much. Like, thank you for being there for me. Things like that. I sent
Yeah.
one to my stepdad. uh Someone to my stepdad, I was like, I'm sorry I was a terrible son to you, and I really could not have wished for a better father than you.
Hmm.
I even sent one to the doppelganger, which was Jacob's character, and
Right.
because again it's technically the same person still, and sent him the little message of
Oh, yeah.
just whatever the message was, I can't remember. And
Yeah.
then it ends, the spell was called To Those I Love.
Oh, okay.
And so what's happening is they all receive that message at the same point, and it's like cinematically, I raise my sword and I say, "To those I love, something, 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 goodbye," and I swing it down, and
Hmm.
boom, the doppelganger dies. I'm laying
Okay.
on the ground, breathing, like trying to like breathe, but my breath is slowing down. That's when me and Anthony go to the kitchen and we make the roll to see if I live or not.
Oh gosh.
Uh, I did a very good job at acting, let me tell you.
Ah.
Because both Jacob and Artemis were like, "So did you live?" And I was like, "I don't know. We'll have to find out next time." And I made it seem like I lived. I didn't win, or I didn't live.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
Anthony, I love him so much. Don't tell him I said that. But the next episode, or between the next episode or the next part, the next session, we kind of met up again to talk about what we would do over the next 3 weeks.
Okay, sure.
And like what would happen, like what our characters would do, and like we were all in the hospital for like a week, then we recuperated, then we would all go do these different things.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, I'd be in the hospital, and then I'd probably just spend some time with my family because it's been like a rough time. You go to work,
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that, and like hang out with them or whatever. And we would and we all talked about what we would do in front of each other.
Yeah.
And so we all like had our plan for what we were gonna do, and then we start the next episode. A week passes, we all get out of the hospital or whatever, and it starts at Skeeter's funeral.
Oh, nice.
But he doesn't say we're at Skeeter's funeral. He has Bill making a speech. Bill is my stepdad.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's making a speech, and then it's revealed that we are at Skeeter's funeral because he died.
Ah, nice.
When I read my messages to everybody, I was crying very bad. Artemis is crying. I think Anthony might have shed a tear.
Yeah.
Jacob was like fully invested in the moment. It was to a point to where I couldn't even say it in like one solid sentence. Like my voice kept breaking up because I was genuinely like starting to bawl as I was reading this message, because I was like, I've invested so much into this character. We've had so many connections.
Yeah.
And Anthony's really good at doing that, making you feel for the characters. And so I was like, I haven't had a moment like this where I felt so distraught that I have to make the sacrifice before.
Great.
And so it was a very emotional moment for all of us. And I still to this day, I'm so upset that I sacrificed Skeeter. But at the same time, I'm happy that I did, because I felt like it was a perfect conclusion to his story.
Yeah. You got to learn when to retire the character. That is a part of their arc for sure.
Because again, his whole storyline was, I need to figure out what happened to my dad.
Yeah.
And now that he did, he could have continued on, of course. But at the same time, it was like everything's been building up to this moment.
Yeah.
This is like the most logical thing that he could have done, because the emotions were high. He's pissed off now because this guy killed his dad.
Oh, sure.
And now he's hurt his friends. He lied to him and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And now he's showing him that I am your father, which he killed his dad or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, just completely emotionally driven, he said, "Nah, you don't get to live again. You don't get to live another day." If he didn't switch to my dad, I might not have done it.
Oh, really? Yeah. All right.
I told Anthony, I literally told him yesterday, if he didn't switch to my dad, I don't think I would have done it. But because he did that, I felt like I didn't have a choice.
It would have been, a little bit rough to attempt that sacrifice against like just one of the monsters.
Yeah, it wouldn't have felt vindicating.
Sure.
It wouldn't have felt like a resolution. It would have been like, oh no, we still don't. Skeeter still hasn't finished the story.
Yeah.
But so that's been my most like emotional moment and like revelation for one of my characters, because it's like, I don't think I've had any other characters that have been to that point yet. Hell, even Rasper, his most emotional moment wasn't even like that. It was genuinely so pissed off because of his battle with the wizards.
I think Raspberry's journey was more heroic rather than emotional driven.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But there could very much be that in the future.
Yeah, if you ever let me play D&D again, but whatever. But a very TTRPG heavy episode today.
No kidding. We'll just call this one the D&D episode.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. Well, we are definitely at time. Any final words for the people?
We keep going at least 15 minutes over time. Is this our new thing now?
I don't know. I don't know. We should try and I don't know.
You know what we should do, since we're talking about D&D? We should just record us playing some D&D sessions. and do a D&D cast.
Hey,
We can release those on Wednesdays. Do like an hour, 30 minutes to an hour. Show off, or we could do one shots maybe. Left and right.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be like a special thing we do every couple months or something.
Yeah. I think this goes up to 2 hours on the recording, so we could potentially do it in here for like up to 2 hours.
That'd be fun.
Anyway, we'll figure this out outside of the recording. Thank you for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed our rambling storytelling.
Our ramblings about tabletop RPGs.
Yep, they're fun. Try them.
They are. They're very fun.
All right. Well, we'll see everybody next week. Bye.